board meeting for, I've lost my paper here, 2/13/2025. And so I'm excited to see you guys here. Got a house full. I love that the football team is here. And so I'm glad that you made it out today. I'd like to welcome those that are online viewing this meeting tonight. Thank you for tuning in. And Madam Superintendent, with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With that, I'd like to invite everyone to stand as Mr. Mathis leads us in the invocation, and then please remain standing as Officer Sirianni will lead us in the pledge.
Let's go to the Lord and pray. Dear Lord, we come to you in prayer this evening. First of all, just thanking you so much for the opportunity to come to you in prayer, God. How awesome it is that we have a God that listens and answers when we pray, God. Thank you, God, for your many blessings that you pour out on each and every one of us every day, God. You are so good to us. Help us all to show that goodness to everyone that we come in contact with, to do our best to live our lives for you each and every day. I thank you so much for the Fannin County School System, God, and for all those gathered here this evening. I pray for each of our board members, Lord, that you would bless them with wisdom and knowledge in all the decisions that they have to make, God. I pray that you would give them peace and unity and let them have a clear and united direction on all decisions they make together. I pray for each of our teachers, our students, and our staff this evening, God. Just continue to protect them and just be with them, Lord. We'll be quick to give you all the praise, honor, and glory that you so deserve. I thank you so much for Jesus. In his name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Officer Sirianni.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Mr. Chair, the next item on the agenda is to approve the consent agenda, and with that, Ms. Tipton will open the minutes. We have 6 sets of minutes, one from the last regular meeting, one from the called meeting on the same day that we had board training, and then we had 4 public hearings for House Bill 581. Board, that's a lot of work since the last regular meeting. I thank you for it. Thank you. And with that said, I know you've had time to review them prior to seeing the glance at them there. With that, I make the recommendation to approve as presented.
Board, we have a motion. Do I have a recommendation? Or do I have a motion for the recommendation?
I'll make a motion for the recommendation to approve the minutes as presented.
Adam, you all over me, man.
Sorry,
Thank you,
Ashley.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Try to let ladies go first.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous. And Madam Superintendent, if you give me just one moment to back up, trying to clarify that exiting one meeting to the entrance of a new meeting. Our board member, Bobby Bearden, is not here tonight because he's with his wife and she's been having some difficulties. So we would cherish your prayers for her.
Amen.
She's had some rough diagnosis, and so that's where he is tonight, just to let you know. And so please keep her in your prayers.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I also ask the audience, if they get too competitive up here and have to break something up, I might need somebody to get my back, just saying, but we'll be all right. All right. Special recognition's one of my favorite times of the meeting, and I would like to invite Mr. Price and Miss Danner up to introduce their spelling bee winners.
Just announce them up here. Are they coming up here?
Yes.
Okay.
You brag on them, you love on them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just need to know the routine. So, so our overall district winner was Miss Cadence Cheney from East Fannin Elementary. I don't know if Cadence is here. I don't see her here though. There she is.
Well, West Fannin had, for representing us, we had Mr. Carson Postel, and he is with us, and he was the runner-up for the district. So come on, Carson.
Hey, Carson, do you want to say a few words? If you don't want to say a few words, I'm going to pass out because you sure did talk a lot.
Hey, and both of these winners are fourth graders competing against fourth, fifth, and middle schoolers. So awesome job.
Carson, do you want to speak?
You asked him twice.
All right, Carson, would you like to invite your parents up with you so they can celebrate with you? And
He's thinking about it.
yeah. Excellent. Miss Tipton, would you please get Carson's photo with his parents, and we're going to stand. And Miss Tipton, if this doesn't work, just let us know. Will you take it? Yeah. All right. Woo-hoo! Let's go, Carson. I wish you all could have been here for the spelling bee. Carson not only is a wonderful speller, but he is a great entertainer as well. It was quite a pleasure. Next group I'd like to invite up is our high school football team. Made it to the Elite Eight, and I'm going to ask Dr. Ramsey to come up, but I'd also like to speak just a minute about the head coach, Chad Cheatham, and his assistant coaches. I know that they're being recognized for football tonight, but what they really accomplish is what you all don't see in the public every day. They're amazing teachers. They advocate for their kids on and off the field. They're turning these students into young men and women that we are all very proud of, and they defend them, they drive them, they love them, and in the middle of all that, they play a little football. So with that said, Dr. Ramsey, it's all you.
Madam Superintendent, Board, it is a pleasure to be here. Ms. Dillard just took everything I was going to say about the coaches, so thanks for that. No, it is. This is our favorite thing to do, is to get to talk about our kids, brag on our kids and their accomplishments, and obviously brag on our coaches too. So I'll go ahead and bring them up before I talk just a little bit about them. So coaches and players, come on up. They're a lot more aggressive when they play football. They can't get anybody to lead them up here. They're a lot more aggressive on the football field. So here we have representatives from our football team. We have several who aren't here, obviously. Our guys do a lot of different sports, a lot of different things, and we even have some here tonight from other sports who cut out to get here in time. I want to brag on what a fine group of young men and women this is. You know, it's not just about the wins and losses. It's not just about the records and all the different things they accomplish athletically. They do such a great job of representing us from a community standpoint, from their family standpoint, from a school standpoint. There were several times this season I would have been embarrassed to be on the other side. And not because of the score, but because of the way people were acting. And that was never the case on our side. Our guys were always class. They were always playing hard. They were always acting the way they were supposed to act. So I was always proud. Now, I was really proud when we whipped their tail, but I was always proud of the way they acted. So I want to say that about them as young men, and that's obviously a credit to their parents, to our coaches, and so I'm very proud of that too. Fannin County is a great place to be a part of. It was a record-breaking season, and I know Coach Cheatham's going to talk about the players, and I'm going to let him do that. I'm not going to steal his thunder like somebody did mine. But I do want to say it's a record-breaking season from a coaching standpoint as well. This season, Coach Cheatham became the all-time winningest football coach in Fannin County history. And that extends back 50 years. So that's a lot of history. And he's going to tell you, just like he said, it takes great players. And he's right, it does. And it takes community support, and he's right, it does. And it takes great coaches behind him, and he's right, it does. But it still starts at the top. So I want to congratulate him. We did this at the banquet the other night, but I want to congratulate him here publicly for what a great job he's done with that. And like Ms. Dillard said, these men up here are all great men. They're obviously great coaches, but they're great teachers, they're great men, they're great role models. And they care more about these young men and women than just as players. They care about them as people and the kind of people they become, and that they become productive members of our society. And so I'm very proud of them for that. It's probably not a great idea to give me and Coach Cheatham a microphone back to back, because we may be here a while. So I'm going to stop now, and I'm going to turn it over to him. But I'll just ask you one more time to give these guys a hand and this young lady a hand for the job they did.
Let me grab some things real quick.
What did I tell you?
Some things.
We want to not only recognize our players and our coaches, but we also want to recognize our board and our Board of Education and what they do for us from the top down, all of our administrators, our faculty, staff at every school. It is a tremendous pleasure and honor to be a part of the Fannin County school system. And I have Coach Turner here. I'll let him go ahead and take care of these. We have a plaque for each of our board members and for our superintendent. We want to give you guys tonight for everything that you've done for us. I gave to our administrators today, and so just as a token of our appreciation for all that you do and all that you've done, Coach Turner, will you? Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I want to start with a couple of things. One is we had our banquet on Monday. I feel like I'm talking backwards. I don't. Yeah.
You can flip it
Can I
around.
kind of turn this thing around a little bit? Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I want to recognize a couple of things from our banquet the other night, and some of the things, and especially in this senior class. And one of those, Cooper Hilliard is with us tonight, and he wasn't able to come the other night because we all know the flu and everything's going around, and he was a little under the weather. But I wanted to say thank you for coming tonight. We missed you. Tremendous player for us, and I wanted to give a couple of things on him. He obviously outside linebacker for us. He was a 2024 second team All-Region defense 7A Division I. Cooper, I know your mom gathered your stuff, but we're glad you're here tonight. We're glad you're feeling better, and I appreciate it. The other thing that I want to do tonight is because I'm not very good with numbers, and I don't always get everything correct. I missed 4 things in our program that happened this year
that was brought to my attention, and I appreciate it being brought to my attention because I want to recognize it tonight, especially two men. We talked about Case playing the most games in his career in history of school with 48. And then we talked about Cooper having 339 total tackles, which is the all-time leading tackler in school history. But what I missed, and it's totally on me, is I missed four that are extremely important. And what we found out over the past couple of days through research and through some help is that Lawson Sullivan won, and I don't think Lawson's here with us tonight, but Lawson Sullivan has the most rushing touchdowns in the history of Fannin County football with 45 touchdowns, and that's amazing. And the next three that I want to point out tonight, and all of these I'm going to give to our paper, and he's going to make sure that all these get in. But Carson Callahan is as our single season rushing yards record in Fannin County history, single season, with 1,808 yards this past season. That's truly tremendous. He has now become our all-time career rushing leader in Fannin County history with 3,301 yards and all-time career all-purpose yards in record in Fannin County history with 4,187. So I want to give this young man a big hand for that. And obviously all of our players, but especially our seniors, this senior class has played the most games in history of the school, which is 48. Most games won, which was 34. Best winning percentage in a 4-year period. Most points scored in a 4-year period, which was 1,630. Most points scored in a single season this year, which was 513. 2 region championships, 1 quarterfinal appearance, 2 Sweet 16 appearances, and 1 first-round appearance. What a tremendous job that this senior class has done. And if you don't think that will be missed, you don't see me laying awake at night worrying about it. So I want to say to our senior class, but all of our players, and I'm going to name our senior class: Case Holloway, Cooper Bourne, Lawson Sullivan, Carson Callahan, Jacob Dye, Braden Taylor, Luke Holsenbach, Cooper Hilliard, Elijah Weaver, Tucker Dockery, Baron Davenport, Nolan Uricha, Rodney Hyde, and Hoss Nelson were all seniors this year. If we give them a hand. So to all of our underclassmen, we got work to do. Real quick, I'm going to read kind of the same thing that I read at the banquet the other night because I think it's from the heart, and I've written it over and over and over, and I just want to share it with you, and I want to read it because I don't want to miss anything. But first of all, I don't believe in luck or coincidence. I believe that God has a perfect plan. Now, do I always understand it? Absolutely not. Do I always accept it? Absolutely, but not always willingly. But before April the 1st, 2024, our theme for the year, our vision, our mission was set. But of course, all of that changed. If it could have happened to this football team, it did. And if it could have gone wrong, it did. And this team, and probably I'll say that is one of my darkest points in my coaching career now of 30. But this team went through the greatest tragedy that a football team can go through. But in that tragedy, what we saw was something miraculous. I saw strength and love and passion and courage and honor. I saw fight. I saw one team, one heartbeat, one mission. I saw focus and determination in a team that I'd never seen before in my coaching career. And this team accomplished something that I can only say was ordained and put into order by the Almighty Himself. People by the dozens have came to me to tell me what a great job me and my coaching staff did. And this coaching staff did an excellent job. And my answer has always been, great players make great coaches. And we as a staff took the approach that great coaches make great men. And so it became very apparent to us and to our coaching staff that in order to hold this team, this staff, this program together for the year, that we needed not only to coach the game like we never coached before, but we needed to coach the soul of every single player that we had. And that was part of it. After our second scrimmage, we made a major change in the way we approach things. And we gave our kids ownership in this program, which I think is extremely important. We held each other accountable. There's no one telling how many push-ups I had to do because I don't always do the right thing, and I understand that, and Lord forgives me. We put trust in our captains. We brought in as many godly men as we could and character coaches, and we put them in front of our kids to pour into them. And I would like to say we were always perfect, but we absolutely weren't. Did we own our failures? Yes, we did. And did we make history? Absolutely, we did. Winning football games is great, but winning in life is the goal, period. And we did both. We put our mission statement to practice: faith, family, academics, and football, which has always been our mission and our vision, but sometimes those things fade as games are played and the season progresses. But we knew we were coaching and we were playing for a higher purpose. We weren't playing for the name on the back of our jersey. We were playing for the name on the front of our jersey. And the empty jersey we carried with us every Friday night into battle. 7, the perfect number. I've been here 7 years. 7 years and 7 playoff appearances. 10-0, a perfect season, a region championship, and my 52nd win in Game 10. And when the dust cleared on a 12-and-wood quarterfinal run, we played a total of 52 quarters. Last month, I turned 52. After the banquet the other night, Dr. Ramsey approached me. We had 50 members of our team, 50, on the all-academic team, which is a 3.5 or better. It's amazing. 26 of those players were 4.0 students. Guess what that percentage is? 52. So I started by saying I don't believe in coincidence and luck. This team very well could possibly go down in history as the best team that has ever played, the best coaching staff that's ever been here at Fannin County. I don't know what history holds or what the future holds, but I can guarantee you this. Be it wins, be it championships, be it touchdowns or tackles, this team was pivotal when it came to healing a community. And when we all felt lost, be it John, be it Jake, be it Dewey, be it Pam, or be it Sean, what I'm most proud is this team put this county and community on their shoulders, and they led us through the valley of the shadow of death. And for that, and I mean every one of them, deserve our respect, our love, and our praise. Thank you.
greater than most grown adults. So I can't wait to see what you go forth and do, and I'll look back and I can say, I knew them when. So I'll just keep it up. So, thank you. Ms. Tipton, will you document this moment for them, please? We're gonna have to try to go to the gentleman in the front or taller than yours is in the back.
Gentlemen, before you guys leave, I'd like to address you. I can't let this minute go because my son's right there and I'm going to embarrass him. I just want to tell all of you young men and women how much fun we've had watching you guys this year. I get a little emotional because look, I love football. My older son played, my middle son plays, and my younger son plays. But I've watched a lot of you guys grow up since you were 5 years old playing football. And I've watched every one of you guys go through one of the worst seasons you could go through. But you guys brought our community together in the way that you carried yourselves on that field every day. I can't tell you how proud I am of each and every one of you. Your accomplishments, it's so hard. Next time I'm going before Scott or before Chad. It's so hard to go after Coach Cheatham, but the accomplishments, 50 of you guys, or 3.5 or better, right? 26, 4.0, that's fantastic. Your accomplishments both on and off the field are fantastic. I can't say too much how proud I am of you. But again, thank you guys for bringing us together. You're the ones that brought all the adults together. You helped our community pull together in a time of need. And very proud of you. You coaches, there's not enough thanks in the room. These young men and women share things with you guys that they won't share with their parents. And you guys give them the guidance and the faith that they need to get through not only this season, but in life. And my heartfelt gratitude goes out to you, your entire team. So I sincerely thank you all for everything that you guys do. Thank you.
They can just hang out. We definitely have good kids. Yeah. Good kids. Mr. Chair, the next item on the agenda is public comment. Mr. Danner, I believe we have two people for public comment.
Yes, ma'am. We do have two. The first one is Miss Tina Lee. She's wanting to speak on the CLC at Fannin County Middle School.
Thank you. Hey, Miss Tina, it's good to see you face to face.
Good to see you too. Thank you so much for the phone calls and setting up meetings. Appreciate you.
Right back at you.
Where's the timer? All right, and I'm not going to speak quickly. I'm a Southerner, so I'm going to slow it down. But I just want you to know that I am so glad to be here. I've been in Fannin County now 25 years and have served as the director of the Christian Learning Center for those 25 years. And for the last 10, we've been talking about something that I want to present to you tonight. But I first want to say thank you to Ms. Dillard. I want to say thank you to the school board, I know you work tireless hours and obviously behind doors, but we see the minutes that y'all work and put in the time, and thank you. I know some of you have just started, but some of you have been doing it for years, so thank you. I want you to know that you are appreciated, and hopefully our community expresses that to you often. My simple request to you tonight is for you to allow the Fannin Christian Learning Center to expand our program to include middle school students. I think it's kind of interesting and no coincidence that, we had the spelling bee champs. We do academics in Fannin County. And then we had the football players. We do athletics in Fannin County. We do. And I am so grateful to have been able to serve at the Christian Learning Center and be able to teach Bible to high school students off school property every day for 25 years. And so I'm very excited that hopefully now we can expand this to the middle school. Most of you know this. I just want to say this maybe for some people behind me that may not know, that we are a release time program, which means students are released from the school, off school property, and they can take a Bible class. It's fully legal because we're off school property. We don't get any tax dollars for it, and the students volunteer to do it. You can't make them take the class. They have to volunteer to take the class. And it has been taken all the way to the Supreme Court back in the 50s, before I was born, that this is a legal program for us to do here in Fannin County, but throughout the United States. Our program, I'm not asking to start something new in Fannin County. I'm asking just to allow it to expand. We've been there, like I said, for 25 years. We've had over 3,000 students in the 25 years. We are an accredited school. We're not a church or a club. We're an accredited school. We are Cognia accredited. We've been accredited since 2007. Evidence that our community is supportive of us. Last year in 2024, and some are anonymous donors, so I can't say for sure, but more than 250 local businesses, churches, and individuals gave money to the Fannin Christian Learning Center. So over 250 in last year, in 2024. We've had tremendous success teaching the high school students, teaching them about honesty, integrity, the importance of godly friendships, caring for others, things like that they can't always get in other classes, or they can't always get in academics or in athletics, but they can get it in a Bible class. And we hope that these lessons, we know these lessons, will be beneficial to our middle school students as well. These lessons are relevant as we are training up these students to become school board members someday, to become become employees or business owners, family members, moms, dads, citizens in our county. So these values are so important. And I'm just so grateful that God has allowed us to do this with the high school students. But as we know, middle school is not like middle school when we were in middle school. Okay, and I know I'm a lot older than all of you, but it's not like, middle school's not like it was when we were there. It's tough times, and we want to be able to be there and be an encouragement to them. Our neighboring county, Gilmer County, has been doing the middle school program since 2015. So for over 10 years, they've already expanded into their middle school. And not that we want to, keep up with the Gilmerites, but we know we're better than them anyway. But it is important to know that middle school programs do exist and are successful. What I need from you as a board and superintendent is we just need approval to expand. We, of course, are going to need the students. If you give them permission to come and allow us to teach them. And we need a facility to do that off school property. The goat house, and I don't really know what to call it other than that. That's just what I've always called it, and it's been called that. I know that building, it's been discussed to tear it down, but we would like to lease it. Or if you tear it down, we'd like to lease that property and put a little building there so that we could teach the students right there. They could walk on the sidewalk right from the middle school to our program. So I know that my time is coming to an end, but before I close, I want to say that there's only one recorded scripture in the Bible of a middle school Jesus. Jesus was 12 years old when he went to the temple. He was a middle school boy, and it's just hard to imagine Jesus as a middle school boy. But he was left behind as his parents went back to Nazareth, and he said, "Did you not know I'd be about my Father's business?" There's something that happens to these middle schoolers. They find out who they are.
Go ahead.
Well, I can turn it over to Rhonda, who's going to defer it back to me. So we
Just keep going.
All right. Jesus we know who Jesus kind of was expressing who he was, his identity, as he was a 12-year-old boy. These middle schoolers, they're finding out who they are and who they're not. And I'm not saying that we have Jesus in the middle school, but I am saying that we have kids in the middle school that need Jesus. We have kids in the middle school that need to know who they are. They need to know that the Father loves them and has a plan for their life. So with that, I want to say that Jesus went and grew in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man. We are teaching our kids academically. We are teaching our kids athletically. And I'm loving both of those. But we've got to teach our children how to grow in favor with God and man, socially and spiritually. So I just thank you for the opportunity to come and share this with you, share this vision with you. We want to serve our community more. Again, we've been here 25 years doing it. I've got staff and board members behind me here. Final thoughts, the CLC is here to serve the students of Fannin County. We're not asking to add a program, but rather requesting to expand our program. We will include middle school students into an already existing 25-year program that has been proven in the community, and it has an outstanding reputation. So with that, I look forward to hearing from you soon.
Miss Tina, thank you so much for coming. And you'll hear from me soon.
All
We'll
right.
keep
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our second public comment is Miss Rhonda Jacobs. She wants to speak on CLC at the middle school.
Didn't she just, I'm misunderstood there, 'cause she
Well,
said
I
she was
was,
going to.
okay, I don't
Okay.
need to speak if
I
we're
can-
over on time.
I
but
can
we-
continue that time.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, all right.
She, out of the team, she is the talker. I'm the bean counter. I don't say a lot, but
Yes,
what I
ma'am.
do say, I mean. So just really quickly.
Okay.
I do serve on the board of directors, the executive board at the CLC. So I am invested in the Christian Learning Center, but more than that, I have personal investments. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. I know that all of you in this room have a heart for our youth, or you wouldn't be here. But what I'm seeing is my daughters who came through school, they had the CLC, loved it. My oldest two grandchildren have had the opportunity at the high school to have the CLC, loved it. Israel James, he's in middle school. He said, I've signed up for the high school CLC. He's so excited about it. But I'm telling y'all, our middle school need it. They need it. They really, we feel so urgent about this right now that our kids need that. I don't think that anything but positive things could come out of that, and I know you're working hard on that. We are here basically to make a public appeal, an advocate, that we are so serious and we are so excited that we want to reach our middle school kids, and we appreciate the fact that you've let us come up here and say that. And that's really all I have to say. I appreciate your time. We're looking very forward. We really hope to get in there by next year. I know that's that's a lofty goal. That's a lofty goal, but we're up for the challenge. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Rhonda, so much.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you both, and thank you for all the work that you all do with our kiddos. It is appreciated. That said, Mr. Chair, next item on the agenda is to approve class of 2025 graduation date. Dr. Ramsey? I can't believe we're already approving graduation.
I know it seems like we just started yesterday, and here we are getting ready to go into this. But yes, propose that Fannin County High School graduation ceremony will be Friday, May 23rd at 2025 in the stadium at 8 p.m. If there is inclement weather, the ceremony will be held in the new gym, May 23rd, 2025 at 8 p.m. And there is a plan in place to address the seating and overflow if we have to use this option. Obviously, we never want to use that option, but what we found is if we don't do it at the same time, a lot of people miss it due to travel plans and different things like that.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation to approve as presented.
So I'll make a motion to approve class of 2025 graduation date as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a
Second.
second. Is there any discussion?
I'd just like to know, how many do we have in the graduating class this year?
It's going to be right at 170 right now.
170, okay, all right.
No further discussion. All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Glad you got that one, Dr. Ramsey.
I know. What would we done if y'all hadn't approved graduation?
Next item.
I got a
on-
little worried when Ashley wouldn't second it. I was like, uh-oh.
I'm dreading it, to be honest.
I know you are.
Yes, we have two members of the board sitting up here that will actually have children walking across the field this year. So it's a little different moment for them than most.
I'll bring you a box of Kleenex.
I'm gonna need it.
I can always play with the numbers and not let them graduate. I mean, I've got the computer there.
I'll whip him.
I'd like to keep both of them.
All right, next item on the agenda is an announcement for the 2025 Fannin County High School prom date, Dr. Ramsey.
Yes, before we get to graduation, we have to go through the prom, get to do the prom, and that is going to be Saturday, April 26th at White Path Creek Farms from 7 to 11. As always, all students and their guests attending the prom will be breathalyzed by the Fannin County Sheriff's Department before they enter. And then we conclude the event by 11, so this allowed students to abide by the Georgia teenage driving laws.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ramsey, for doing this for our students. I know it's a lot of work. Mr. Chair, next item on the agenda is to approve referendum to the House Bill 581. And Ms. Tipton has the referendum pulled up. We, as a school board, or you all as a school board, have held, there was a minimum of 3 required public hearings, one of them required to be held between the hours of 6 and 7, with publications in our legal organ, which is the News Observer, and our website at least 7 days prior to each of those meetings. We actually had 4 public hearings, with 3 of those meeting all the minimum requirements. The referendum states that as a school board that you all would wish to opt out of that statewide homestead exemption, better known around the state right now and read as House Bill 581. And if you'll pull on down, Jenny, Ms. Tipton, excuse me, keep going. And then the different exhibits are just affidavits and examples of where this school board has met the criteria of the opt-out clause in House Bill 581. I just want to reemphasize the fact that it was a part of the law when it passed that this would be an option if local governments so chose to follow through. So with that said, and that's just where it was on our website. Keep going, Ms. Tipton, just kind of, and that was just press releases, and then the last one, again, that's just documentation, all to go to the Secretary of State if the referendum for House Bill 581 is approved tonight. With that said, Mr. Chair, I make the recommendation to approve as presented.
So, Board, we have a recommendation to approve the opt-out of House Bill 581 for the Fannin County School Board. I will make that motion. Do I have a second?
I will second it.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I'd just like to make a comment.
Yes, sir.
At the heart of this bill, I believe there's good legislation, but this is not a one-size-fits-all bill, and it's not a bill that would fit every county equally. I believe there are some counties that'll probably benefit from it and others that will not. At this time, I don't think it's good for Fannin County. We've had our meetings, and I want to express my gratitude for those who spoke up at those meetings and expressed their opinions. But I understand that there's further legislation that could be coming down the pipe that could change this. But right now, the public has to know that we as a school board have to make a decision by the deadline, and that's March 1st. And that's why this decision is being made today. How future legislation changes it yet, we really don't know. But I wanted to make a point just to express my gratitude to those who have shared their opinions and who have attended the meetings that we've had. We've had a lot of conversation over House Bill 581 in the last 3 months. So and thanks to our representative. Our representative, Mr. Chastain, is going to work for us at the Capitol along with some others. And they're trying to make something that's good for everybody. So we'll see what happens. But just I want to make that comment. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Board. Next item on the agenda is to approve East Fannin Elementary School playground equipment. With that said, Mr. Danner?
I get to present it, but it's actually Mr. Price's, there's a memo, Mr. Price got a quote from a playground company. Ms. Tipton, if you'll pull up the quote. So Pro Playgrounds, we've used this vendor before at another school. So again, have good success with them. There's a picture of it there at the bottom. Ms. Tipton, you might need to rotate. Okay, maybe you can't rotate. You can't rotate. So I've definitely decided once I retire with the school system, I'm going to work for a playground company because I'm telling you what, that stuff is not cheap. And Ms. Tipton, if you'll go back to now the memo, the last one. Yeah. So again, I would like to make that recommendation per Mr. Price to order playground equipment for East Fannin Elementary for $35,999. That is a turnkey price, and that will be paid for out of SPLOST.
Okay, Mr. Price, thank you for moving forward with this. Mr. Danner, I will take your request to make that recommendation to approve as presented.
So, Board, we have a recommendation to approve East Fannin Elementary School playground equipment. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, ma'am. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Oh, okay. Go ahead.
We're going to tell Matt we need some pictures of him playing.
All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
I'd like to say, if you don't mind, Mr. Chair, that I'm thankful for student advocates who advocates for other children in the schools. So, all right, next item on the agenda is construction facilities update. Mr. Downer, wow us, please, sir.
As that gets pulled up, maintenance department, as of yesterday, 1,407 documented completed work orders. So again, Ms. Tipton, I'm just going to let you scroll. This is the visitor side at the stadium parking lot. This was actually Monday. And again, it has actually changed quite a bit since then. They're getting ready to start pouring a wall for the annex there behind the old gym. All the footers are dug. So again, just multiple pictures there on site. I got the superintendent on the job. We jumped on his side by side and we actually went on site. So again, I got some close-up pictures there. And they were actually started laying out the dugouts and stadiums today so that you can really start seeing some activity going on.
Which one was from where the tennis courts are going to be looking back at the school? Did you leave that one in there?
Leave it right there. I'll go down one, Jeannie. So this is at the very tip of the property, looking back across. There, see that little knoll there that's sort of blocking the view of the high school? Well, if you're at the high school looking back this way, you don't realize how much property that is. And again, of course, it goes all the way up to the top of the ridge. But again, while we was out there riding, I told him I want to go back to that corner. Now go the other way, Jeannie. And then, no, the other way, right there. So this was actually, we would be on where the new tennis courts will be sitting. That's looking towards more the baseball side. Jeannie, go one more up, there you go. And that's looking at the softball field. And then that little mound where the gravel is to the right, that's where the annex is going to go right off of the old gym. Now, Jenny, if you'll go back to that, the schematic view. So, again, you know, that's what's going on that piece of property right now. A portion of that property, roughly 28 acres. So, I know boards like information. So, I went and met the superintendent on the job. That's approximately 2,500 new sewer lines going in, approximately 6,800 new storm lines. There's 4 underground detention ponds. One pond is 625 feet, 1,500 feet, 2,000 feet, 1,144 feet. The new parking lot there at the top by the football stadium, the Industrial Boulevard will be adding 68. The lower football field on Industrial Boulevard, 139. And then at the upper side, the visitor side, what's going to be remaining is 59. So that's actually 266 new parking for the football field. There's currently, before the parking lot got ripped up, it was right at 90 spots on the visitor side. Baseball will have 58 parking, softball 85, tennis courts 35, the lower annex 19, and the upper annex 10. So again, there's 473 new parking places that'll be added to the facility once it gets complete. And then, Ms. Tipton, if you'll pull up our, so concrete pad to the top right, that's where the greenhouse used to be. So go ahead, Ms. Tipton, just started clicking. So here's a time-lapse view of our CTAE automotive annex, or whatever we call that building out there. It is actually completed. The electrical contractor started Tuesday, and I like that picture the most. Yeah, it's a finished product, but that's our kids going into the building, taking a look at it. So, so again, the contractor's there, and our students are helping those contractors. And I said, when I stopped and checked on today, they said the contractor said our student just went to lunch. I said, are they in your way? He said, no, absolutely, we're putting them to work. So, so we're getting our kids in electrical is getting hands-on experience, are helping electrify that building.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Danner. Next item is to approve board resolution, local facilities plan.
Board, this is the hoops we have to jump through to remain in COPS, to receive COPS money from the state.
Capital Outlay Program, correct?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Capital Outlay Program that y'all heard about at GSBA, and Doug Suits will be here in March to go over more in detail. But again, so this is the, on January the 8th, I had to present to a panel. Go ahead, Ms. Tipton, just scroll through. The actual Board of Department of Education approved the preliminary plans on December the 18th. And then the next step in that is you go through a facilities preview, and I'll show you who the members of that here in just a moment. But again, this is what we're thinking is going to happen in the next 5 years that's possibly using COPS money.
So this isn't like comprehensive of everything, it's what would qualify for COPS money, is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct. Only certain things you can qualify for using COPS. Go ahead, Ms. Tipton. So then scroll down right there. So Mr. Greg Trammell, he is at Lumpkin County. Justin Timms, he's at Forsyth. I think he's the one I didn't really know. Thomas Griffin from Union County. William Duggan, he was from, oh shoot, I can't remember where he's from. Mike Patton's from Union County. But there's normally 3 to 5 on this. And actually I got an invite today from Doug Suits to sit on Cherokee County's panel the 26th of February. So again, I will be I'll be not presenting, so I'll get to listen to a presentation from Cherokee County. Keep going, Ms. Tipton. And then, but again, here was that member team. Here's their commendations that they give to the board. Of course, I'm not going to read all that to you, but again, they were very impressed about us being zero debt. Future plans of course, starting the CTA facility immediately, tearing down the old CTA facility, and then start planning and start building an upper elementary school. So again, they were very appreciative of that, and of course, they wouldn't once it was over, they kept asking questions and all that type of stuff about being debt-free. And I said, well, right now we're debt-free, and we'll build the athletic facility, and we'll still be debt-free. So, so again, they were very complimentary of Fannin County and what's going on up here.
Yes. And also attached to this agenda item is the comprehensive plan that was submitted to the state. This link is available to the public on our website. You can get to any of these documents on the agenda, but it's the comprehensive plan that had to be.
Yeah, there's a lot of things on there that that doesn't mean anything, but again, it's the what is required to go through the program. And the next thing that is required is a board resolution that you approve the facilities plan. It goes back to the Department of Education, then they do the final approval. They approve the preliminary, the panel has approved it, we have our board resolution, goes back to the DOE, then they do the final approval. Again, all those hoops you gotta jump through to get that statement.
And with the resolution, what the board is saying is that you all agree to participate in this program from the state, adhering to the guidelines that they set forth in the facilities. So.
And then that's the actual resolution from the DOE. That's a form letter. We just change the dates of it and that sort of thing.
The things in the plan, if the board should change their mind, this is a living, kind of like the strategic plan. It's a living document, and you could go back and revise. Am I using the right words, Mr. Danner, in your world?
Correct.
Okay.
You have to make applications, and you have to get approvals and about building new facilities, phasing out new facilities. We've already started the process of phasing out the old CTAE, and we don't even have plans yet. But again, that's just the hoops you got to jump through that the architects get involved and the DOE has to approve.
So with that said, Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation to approve as presented.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. We have a recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I want to say I'm excited about the CTAE building. I want to build a nice one and start a lot of new programs. And I know we need a lot of those that are going to be coming out of school, coming right into those jobs that we need filled so bad in this community. So as long as everything keeps going good, you know, there's going to be a big demand for those jobs, and I'm looking forward to that. So it'll be exciting to see what we got coming, and I'm excited for the community to see it as well.
Hopefully at our March training, we will have some hard copies of some options on what we're looking at. Right now, it's just too early. We got a couple options for architects and start over. So
I'm excited that we're going to move on it quickly, because that's opportunities that are not missed. The quicker we get it done for those students and stuff.
very true.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, like you said, in March, our plan is to have tentative things for you all to definitely look at and start tweaking. So.
All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, next item on the agenda is to approve school quarterly financial reports. Ms. Nguyen?
Good evening, Madam Superintendent, Board. So we have our quarterly school reports. So these are each of the schools' checking accounts, which shows their clubs, field trips, and everything. It's all on the same program, and we can you can scroll through, and we have East Fannin and their different accounts, and then West Fannin. And then the middle school. And all their accounts are divided out by their clubs and everything, field trips and things like that, STEM, STEAM. We have the high school. And then we have the CTAE.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation to approve as presented.
Board, we have a recommendation to approve school quarterly financial reports. Do I have a motion?
You have a motion?
Thank you. I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is to approve the district financial report. Ms. Nguyen?
So this is the report for December 31st, so it's 50% of the fiscal year. We have our general fund with the revenues and expenditures and everything encumbered. We're at 48.44% in revenue and 35.48 in expenditures. And then we have our capital projects. And then our special revenues and our school nutrition.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation to approve as presented.
Board, we have a recommendation to approve the district financial report. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the district financial report.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Nguyen.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is to approve the 2025-2026 Fannin County School Calendar. Mr. Danner, your favorite assignment?
Favorite assignment, and I keep trying to get kicked off of it, and I'm not getting kicked off of it yet. So, had a meeting with 23 staff members, so 3 district personnel, admin from every school, parent liaison from every school, and a parent SGT member from each school. I had one that didn't get to make it. We come up with 2 viable options, option 1 and option 2. The big difference between option 1 and option 2 is a week of Thanksgiving, and which is option 1. Option 2 has a 3-day Thanksgiving break. They both calendars have 90 days first semester, 90 days second semester. They have 10 PL days built in. What is in yellow there, that's actually FTE days, which is very important days for the school system. I left that on there. I didn't mark that, but again, we had some questions on it. But and this is new this year on both calendars. Notice there in August, in September, and also in March. Those are virtual days for students only. Staff will report as regular time. Give that a try this year and see how that works. But again, there are that on both calendars. We hashed that out. 23 members. It's a pretty good meeting, pretty good long meeting, but we got it worked out. Mr. Tippin, keep going. Sent that out to vote. It's 297 people voted through the Google link. Now that pie chart is not how many voted for which. That's how much school participation was. Down at the bottom, notice that 74.1% voted for option 1, 25 voted for 2. Then we had a couple paper ballots, 10 paper ballots for option 1, 2 for option 2, for a total of 309 votes. So that totals up to 74.4% of our staff members voted for option 1.
Thank you, Mr. Danner. With that said, Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation to approve option 1 for the 2025-2026 Fannin County School Calendar.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. Board, we have a recommendation to approve option 1 for the Fannin County School Calendar 2025-2026 school year. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, ma'am. I will second that. Discussion. I just want to thank you because I know my wife sat on that calendar thing and she said she doesn't want a part of it anymore because
I'm trying to get fired from it. Y'all won't take
there's
me
so
on.
so much involved that nobody involved understands that you got little kids that have certain requirements. You got sports, you got all that stuff. You know all that, but they don't know all that. And so there's a lot of rigorous back and forth to get that done, and I want to compliment you and thank you. Any other discussion?
Darren, what did you say the days in yellow are?
That's the actual date that we have to turn in our FTE, our our butts in the seat, Adam. That's the count in February, and I'm sorry, in March, and also in September, or in
That's how
October.
the state decides how much money they're gonna give us for QBE. So those date counts.
You'll be
are
in
pretty
school,
important.
school will be in session those days.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in session those days, and then they average those two, and again,
Those are the
That
days
might
you
be the
want
only
every
thing that would get
student
him
there,
fired.
sick or not sick.
Yeah.
So watch-
that's the date we want everybody to be there for funding, for athletics. We want a bunch of people absent, so again, it's a trade-off, so we got to have everybody there.
Okay.
All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Oh, thank you. Mr. Chair, next item on the agenda is to approve the Fannin County High School wireless project, and I will give y'all extra money if you ask this man a lot of questions.
Thanks. She set me up. Good evening, Board and
Yes.
Ms. Dillard. I come to you this evening to request the approval of the wireless replacement at Fannin County High School. If you will open the quote, Ms. Tipton, we currently have 55 access points up there, and a couple of them being outside to cover the entire school for wireless coverage. As you know, all of our students have Chromebooks, so this gets used all day, every day, pretty much. And it has been there for a little over 5 years is the current life of our wireless that is there now. And so typically we have replaced it about on a 5-year cycle in the past. And so we have had a couple of minor issues, so I think it is time. So I'm coming to make that request to you. It will be in the amount of $44,006.72, and it will be done by Howard Technologies. This is turnkey, and so it will be a complete install and setup and everything for that amount, which will be paid for with SPLOST dollars.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, with that said, I make a recommendation to approve as presented.
Board, we have a recommendation to approve the Fannin County High School wireless project. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
We should come up with something.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I think that might be Robert's first
I were-
motion. Thank you,
If
Robert.
I were a little more tech savvy, I would have questions.
No,
but-
it's fine.
Hey, will you explain why the pattern that we upgrade, that's a lot of money. I want the public to know the rotation and then also like the subscription, why there's more subscription
Most
than
definitely.
points in those
So if you
things.
look at that quote, Ms. Tipton's pointing out there that I said there are 55 devices, but there is 186 licensed. And so we have system-wide 186 devices, wireless devices, one being right there in the corner that everybody's connected on. So we are purchasing, we do that every year, and so we are purchasing all those licenses with this quote, and then as we look at the other schools, the license would not be on there. It would just be the hardware. And so the reason that we replace this on a 5-year cycle is really what I said. It is extremely important, fixing to be very important as we enter milestones testing. Mm-hmm. We do all of that online now with Chromebooks, and so far it's worked great. And so it is, I tell you, when you'll notice this, and if you haven't, when I go by a school or a class and I look in the room, everybody's got a Chromebook sitting on their, sitting on their desk, and that's how the majority of them do their work these days. So it is very important, and I will say, in technology here, I've done this for 25 years, not in this position, but we have always been very proactive, and the board has always been very generous to make sure that, we try to head off any problems before they happen. So That answer your question, Ms. Dillard?
Yes, sir, thank you.
All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Chair, next 3 items on the agenda will be presented by Mr. Drury.
Good afternoon, Board, Madam Superintendent. We got some transportation requests from some of our community partners that need our help getting students where they need to be, and some community members. The first one is Mountain Education. Our Fannin County campus requests a bus for their upcoming trip on Wednesday, February 26th, to Fannin Lanes here in Blue Ridge, and they will be responsible for the cost of the fuel and the driver.
With that said, Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation to approve as presented.
Board, we have a recommendation to approve Mountain Education bus requests. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Next item.
Okay, the next one we have is for Leadership Fannin, again, a local community organization. They have a request for us to take them down to Atlanta on March 20th this year to the Georgia State Capitol, and they will be responsible for the cost of the fuel and the driver as well.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation to approve as presented.
Thank you, ma'am. We have a recommendation to approve Leadership Fannin bus request to the Capitol building. Do I have a motion?
You have a motion?
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Next item.
Okay, our last request is also from Leadership Fannin, and this is one that is great for our school system because they're requesting a bus for us to visit some of our various neighborhoods and take a tour of the high school, and so that will be on March 6, 2025, and they will be responsible for fuel and the driver.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation to approve as presented.
Thank you, ma'am. Board, we have a recommendation to approve Leadership Fannin bus request, Fannin Education Day. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the Leadership Fannin request for Fannin Education Day bus transportation.
Thank you, sir. I will second that. Is there any discussion? All in favor by raised hand? It's unanimous.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Drury.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is personnel, and there you all have 2 personnel sheets. If you will open them both, but look at the first one, which is a list of personnel that will be offered a contract for the 2025-2026 school year. These are our current professional staff and administrators under contract this year that will have a contract or be offered a contract for next year. And if there's not an objection, I would like to take the sheet in 2 sections, but not reading out specific names. Is there any objection to that? Okay. First recommendation is for the administrators on the list as presented, effective for the 2025-2026 school year. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
Board, we have a recommendation for administrators effective 2025-2026 school year. Do I have a motion?
You have a motion?
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Have a second. All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. The next list is recommendations for professional staff effective 2025-2026 school year. And again, if there's not an objection, we'll take that list as presented. Okay, Mr. Chair, that I make a recommendation for the list as presented.
Thank you, ma'am. Board, we have a recommendation for professional staff for the effective 2025-2026 school year. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Excellent. Now on the other personnel sheet, if you'll open that, we have resignations. And if there's not an objection, I will read the entire list and make that recommendation collectively. Okay, and that is resignations of Heather Aids, effective 5/30/2025, Patty Dubois, effective 6/30/2025, Jenny Garland, effective 5/28/2025, Deborah Harnett, effective 5/30/2025, Shelby Powell was effective 1/31/2025, and Crystal Walden, effective 5/30/2025. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
Board, we have a recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. The next recommendations are all for substitute employees pending completion of paperwork, background check, and training requirements. If there's not an objection, I will take the first two collectively, and that is Stacy Davis. They're both Stacy Davis and Valerie Reese, both for school nutrition, both effective 2/17/2025. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
Board, we have a recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, sir. May I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor by raised hand? It's unanimous.
Excellent. Next one is Justin Long, bus driver substitute, effective 2/17/2025. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Last one is Jenny Garland, substitute teacher for next school year 2025-2026. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
Board, do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor by raised hand? It's unanimous.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That leads us to superintendent and board member comments, and I'd just like to take a minute to thank everyone for being here. Love everyone in our community. Board, I thank you for all the work that you have done in the past month. You came on board, and all of you all have worked nonstop with and making educated decisions about House Bill 581 and finances, and you're appreciated. And we are Fannin, and I thank God that we are Fannin. Mr. Chair.
Miss Ashley Weeks.
I'm glad everybody that showed up tonight. We did things a little bit differently today, and I just appreciate y'all coming for sure. Great job to the spelling bee winners. That's super awesome. And then obviously great job to the football team. Kind of piggybacking off what Adam said, I've played sports my entire life. Nobody really remembers your stats, your success in sports, but what those sports are going to teach you is that work ethic and that character, and that will stay with you for a lifetime. So that really is important. Our public speakers, Miss Tina and Miss Rhonda, it was just great to hear them from the CLC. So I would like to say just thank you for those two ladies coming out to speak, and just appreciate y'all coming out.
I'd like to say thank you as well. Thank you to the CLC. That I know, serving is a big part of my life, and I appreciate them for what they're doing and trying to expand that program, and I think it's a great thing, and I appreciate them for that. I should have probably said this when the football team was in here, but hopefully somebody will listen and tell them. But, I wished I would have said it when they were here, but they don't know who I am. Half of them don't. I know some of them, but one thing I do know that is I played football, and those coaches are amazing. And I had some amazing coaches when I was in school. And there was times in life where I was down, and all I could hear was my coaches and those mentors and stuff telling me to keep going and, dig deep and all those things. So if anything they could hear from me, those graduating at least, is that they're going to remember that. They need to hold on to that, because it got me through a lot of life. Just those people that invested a little bit of time in my life and instilled those good values in me, and I'm so thankful to have that in our school system. I know every other school systems don't have that, but I'm thankful we do here, because I've seen it firsthand. I've seen Coach Cheatham come out and talk to our rec, football players and athletes and stuff, and he always tells them put God first, and I appreciate what he stands for and what those other coaches stand for, so I don't want him to say that. And, thank you to Connie. I've always appreciate what you do, and I didn't get a chance to say anything earlier. And then the last thing is I know we don't, have them here, but for those resignations, those that put in all the service, some of them, you know, they're leaving, they're retiring. And I want to thank them for their service and everything they've done. Some of them were teachers when I came through school, and they also made big impacts in our community, and I appreciate them, and I hope they get to hear that.
Mr. Adam Bourne.
Thank you. You guys know that I'm pretty passionate about football this year for obvious reasons, but
Nah.
you know, if anyone was ever, if any of you out there was at the memorial for Coach Aids, I believe it was his uncle that stood up on the stage, and I'll never forget the moment. He threw his hat off and put a Fannin County hat on and said, "From now on, Fannin County is my favorite team." And I can say the same thing, but that was a memorable moment for me. But guys, you just don't see that happen everywhere, and that's it's representative of what each and every one of you in this room do, and each and every one of you that work for our school system do, and how you lead, coach, and guide our kids throughout school and throughout life. And I just can't be more proud of you guys, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to represent you all. That said, I'll move on. So congratulations to the football team. I am going to put in my request next year to go in front of Coach Cheatham, because he is very hard to top. Thank you all for being with us throughout the first of the year, showing up for our meetings for House Bill 581. It's a tough decision, and you know, I made some earlier comments, and it's a hard decision to make, but we're making the best decision that we know to make for our school system. We'll always be good stewards of your tax dollars, and I know our community always pulls together, and we'll make it work. But I wanted to touch base on that. It was good to talk to every one of you. You each have a different perspective, and it generated a lot of thought and a lot of questions from all of us. Congratulations to the Spelling Bee winners. They left, didn't they? But Matt, I want to thank you for your quick action at the playground. I'm looking forward to seeing pictures of you upside down on that. Ladies, thank you for Tina and Rhonda. Thank y'all for showing up, speaking to us as well. But and Connie, Connie, to you and your team, thank you all for the work that you all do every day. Thanks for allowing us to be here. Turn it over.
Yeah, well, y'all running the gauntlet, so I won't I'll just say what Bobby would say, ditto to all that. And but principals, thank you for being here. You still, you're heroes to me. Y'all do such a great job and taking care of those little ones out there. And I know Dr. Ramsey, they're not so little when they get to your size, but you take care of them and treat them great. SROs, thank you for all that you do in keeping us safe. I'm going to say, and the attitude in which you do it, you know, because Coach Cheatham, he won my heart when he first came because he has a great attitude. I've never seen him in a bad attitude. Been in the hallway while he's teaching, and if you ask him, he's such a great coach, but he loves teaching in the classroom, and that's pretty awesome. I was thinking about We Are Titans. Attitude reflects leadership, and because of his leadership, he gets a great attitude from his football team, from the people in his classroom, which made me think. My mind was going, and heard a guy speak about being at the airport, and he was ready to board the plane. He's kind of getting a spare seat, but there was somebody in front of him who really had a bad attitude when the attendant said next, and it was him. And he got on the plane, and the one with the bad attitude didn't. And what he says was, attitude will get you altitude. That's true in life, and that's what you're seeing from the coach and what they're doing. Not just them; it's from every coach we have. I mean, we're pointing him out, but we have great coaches everywhere, and attitude gets you altitude, and so that gets me very excited. So I thank y'all all for coming out. I don't want you to go anywhere, but I am going to adjourn. But just give me just a minute. And so with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. We are adjourned.
Hey, just let